Good day, good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing okay. I hope that in maybe this is your second week of being home a lot more often, working from home, schooling from home, and whatever else is that has changed in your life. I'm sure that it's impacted your food or at least made you think more about how you do life with food. So if you don't know me, my name is Tracy Brown. I'm a somatic nutrition therapist and a tune eating specialist. Oops, trying to get the sun out of my face here. And thank you everybody who's watching live this morning. I'm sorry I'm a little late getting going, but as much as I'm trying to keep to my gentle structure of time with working and schooling from home, because my kiddos are school age or enough where we have plenty of work to do right now. And if you have a younger first or kindergarten first, appreciate that because I have a third grader and she's doing a lot of homework right now. So I just got her set up with that. And well, let's talk about it. I want to talk about what I've learned. I'd love to hear about what you have learned so far about being less able to do what you want to do, eat what you want to eat, and go where you want to go. And I would love to hear about what is happening for you. So I'm going to raise my hand here that I've pretty much work from home anyway. And so this hasn't been a major change for me, but what I'm noticing is obviously the conversations that I have with people about, gosh, what it is like in our systems and what does this remind us of? Whether it's past stuff, whether it's like, I've been actually kind of craving some time to slow down. And now that I have it, it's a little just weird. Maybe it's unnerving. And I know there's like the worries maybe we have about illness or finances. I seem to be our top worries right now. But I'm wondering if it's also coming up in other kind of ways around how you use the food you have. And that's what I want to talk about today, is how we're using the food we have and how we're using the time we have. So I see a lot of people live here. If anyone wants to ask me a question or chime in about your particular struggles around that, I'm really opening every video and every post I do up to an opportunity for you to get some support. So of course there's support in the peaceful eating group I have, the intuitive eating support group I have. If you need more one-on-one support, I have a lot of options. I have a meditation series that could help you. If you need or want any of that, please let me know. It's all available. And so in the peaceful eating group this week, we're also going to be doing some meal sessions. Nothing structured or pressured, just like, hey, let's just show up and eat together. I'm not going to do any processing necessarily with people, but just let's gather. So if you're interested in that, please let me know as well. So anyway, what I've noticed personally about food is that it's kind of bringing me back to more simplicity. Prior to all this, I did tend to be this is how I cook and shop. So just so you know if this helps you, is that I'm a person who aisle shops. So I see stuff and oh yeah, I can make this and that. We haven't had that in a while. That sounds good. But I always buy basics. So the basics of bread and cheese and milk and proteins and some snack stuff and a few backup meals. So, frozen pizzas and, some frozen stuff and things like that. And so I did have a little bit of a stock of stuff, not a big stock, a week or so of meals. If I didn't go to the store, we'd be fine. But I've had to rely on some of that more now because where I am, shelves are pretty, honestly, kind of bare. You could still find stuff, but things you have to think about what you want to do with it, essentially. And I think, and tell me if that's maybe true for you, is that it's making me think about going back to basics with, cooking. It's like, I have potatoes here. What are the different ways you can make potatoes? So I fried potatoes last night, old school, over a campfire in a cast iron skillet, salt, pepper, oil, slice up potatoes in thin circles, and that took 20-30 minutes scraping them around, basically. And we had just some baked chicken with it and whatever veggies I had, and I think we had, what do we have left? I think we had some kind of dessert, like brownies or cookies or something. and I think I cut up an orange. I mean, it was super simple. We had oranges and potatoes and chicken, basically, and a dessert. And that was our meal. And that's kind of how things are going. Now, some things are more complex. I know I'm making stews and soups and lasagnas and tacos still and stuff like that. But, we're really having to go back to some basics. And when you do that, what I find at those meals, at least for me personally, and tell me what you all are noticing too, is that, and I would love to hear how you all are getting groceries and doing things too, and if you need any help with like precautions and things like that. What I mean by that is if you get your groceries, let them sit out of your house for a few minutes. I don't have the memorized CDC recommendations in my head right this second. I should have. I meant to look it up before we get started, but I forgot. But I left my stuff out just a few minutes, just a precaution. That kind of stuff. And, ideally we're supposed to change our clothes before we come in from going places, that kind of thing too. But anyway, what I'm noticing, it's causing us to kind of come back to simplicity with our cooking and possibly even our shopping. So in my freezer, right now, there's not a lot of packaged stuff. I mean, I have some pizza crust in there. I think I ended up finding some gnocchi, which was really cool, but really basic stuff. And so it makes us kind of have to go back to a little bit more cooking, which I want to remind you all, doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's kind of, we're kind of reorienting ourselves again to that way of life, as well as, and you'll be surprised that if you let yourself not worry about messing up or doing it wrong, that you might make some cool stuff and discover some new stuff again. So I'm going to remind you all that you can't really screw it up. You can't get it wrong. It's more about learning again. So I have a question here. So we have someone who's my person here who's making the comment is not the grocery shopper. He's an essential worker, so he's out there anyway. He brought home some normal food, so like giant chocolate bars, donuts. Me too. I did the same thing. I bought chocolate. There was a brand of donuts that it comes frozen. I bought some of those, stuff like that. And other things like that. My initial thought was, oh no, bad foods. I'm not dealing with that well. Okay. So, what is it that feels hard to deal with? So start unpacking by asking yourself questions. When you say those are bad foods. So when we have some all or nothing thinking going on, can we break it down to essentially what all food is? All food is protein, carbs, and fat. It's all the same. It's all, like, so donuts, for example, which I have in my house too, it's flour and some yeast. And really donuts, that's about it. Donuts and yeast, you roll it out and you fry it in some oil. So you got oil. So how many meals do you actually have that have those same ingredients? Some flour and some oil in it. Like last night I had potatoes and oil. That was the meal, or part of the meal. And we need those, oh, that sun is getting us, huh? We need those essential nutrients to absorb we need fat to absorb our fat-soluble vitamins. We need carbs always for energy and to keep our focus right now. And so I want us to start really unpacking. There's no such thing as like magical weight gain food. Everything boils down to protein, carbs, and fat. And it's more about, can we settle in and recognize what's the difference between our hunger and fullness and the associations we've attached to certain foods. And you're going to find, oh, that's where my diet mentality lives and my belief that weighing more is bad. And so then you can decode it from there. Oh, I think weighing more is bad. How come? Where did I get that from? What's going to happen? Really start separating it out from the food, and you start to recognize this is not about donuts. This is so about where I feel my worth lies, what I think I need to do with my body to be safe, whatever else is going on to be worthy, to be acceptable. So another reader here, we just found that the grocery stores open early for seniors. I've seen that. I did check on that. I've been doing my only coronavirus research is around food and food supply and those kind of things right now. The precautions, I can go to CDC. I don't look anywhere else about that stuff. The first house open for those of us over 60. There's an advantage. Hopefully find some food. Yes, I hope you do too. If you're not ordering food, I really encourage people to look at other ways of getting their food too. So I order from Aldi's. I did happen to go to a store an early morning one day. I would not go during the weekends. It's been horrific. I just checked yesterday at our local store that's close to me, and it was like a mile long wait to get in the store. I'm like, no, thank you. And people weren't looking like in their best self modes there. I'm like, I'm not being around people who want to like get mine, that kind of stuff. I'm not interested. I don't even want to be around it. So try to go during off times and things like that, and get what you need and not hoard and all that. That's okay, Mary. Yeah, I know you're late, but I'm glad you're here. And please chime in after you read this or watch this and ask me any questions you have as well. So yeah, Debbie, and I'm going to push everybody here to really expand your horizons about what you think you can and can't eat, and break it down into protein, carbs, and fat. It's an opportunity. We need to look at, I've been telling my clients all last week, this is an opportunity to see where our fears about food are still there. Yeah, Mary, I'm doing mostly online orders too, through Aldi's and other places, Amazon. I don't do it that much through them, but Instacart has access to all kinds of stores. So that's kind of what I'm mostly doing right now. To stay, out and to just try to, to stay as much as possible to like help keep this virus contained, that kind of thing. Sorry, sun's getting us, right? Okay, so lastly, this is an opportunity for us all to do the self-care things we've always said that we don't have time to do, that we wanted to do, but just felt like we didn't know how to make it work. And so now it's time to practice. Okay. So Amy says, how do I balance not feeling that higher weight is bad and the medical issues that would probably resolve if my body was lower? Sorry if this is triggering. Well, I think it's a very common response as you're coming out of diet culture. So how do I balance not feeling higher is bad? This is the first question I was going to ask anyone, Amy, is like, if we know that diets fail and that we are not going to be able to maintain a purposely food restricted environment for long, most people, again, the research is super clear. People regain weight 6 months to 2 years, maybe all of it, most of it, maybe all that weight plus some within 6 months to 2 years. So is really the way to help our joint pain and diabetes weight loss? Or is it focusing on radical self-care? So doing the regulation work that I teach people to do, talking about supportive eating. It doesn't mean that you don't eat your fruit and vegetables. It just means, well, how do I eat? Like if let's say you have diabetes and a lower body weight, or joint pain and a lower body weight, what would you do? You probably experiment with different ways of eating to see which way best manages those blood sugars. You would work on stress management. You would work on sleep. You would work on social connection. Now we're doing social connection online, and you're here doing it, which is great. I have a meditation series that might help you work on just feeling more settled and more grounded, and those things all help, because let's say for diabetes, if there's insulin resistance going on, we don't want a reason for our bodies to feel like there's tigers chasing us more often than we can prevent. So it's like, things like out in nature, coloring, breathing, journaling, connecting. I mean, we don't do those things. We want weight loss to fix us now and yesterday versus work at the timing of our body and how to heal. So our bodies are, our body regeneration, our body responses are much slower than our cognitive. And our world's very fast. So we want to do the fastest thing possible so our lives aren't disrupted. But that doesn't actually encourage healing. Same thing with recovery. Is that we have to choose some radical things, which is being different than the norm if we want to have a peaceful relationship with food and weight. So Amy, I hope this helps you a little bit, if this answer was helpful. So please let me know if it was. And is there anything else that anybody's noticing in their relationship with food right now? I'd love to hear about it, because this week I'm really going to follow your lead, my dear watchers and readers, about what you need support with, because we're in different times right now. And maybe, so I actually had, before this hit 2 weeks ago, I had a really great topic around satisfaction going on to plan, but and that may be appropriate for right now as well. So let me know if that's something that's interesting or helpful to you. If you want to hear more about just kind of meal planning, I'm happy to do that too with the stuff you have around. And I'm also wondering if you'd be interested in basically me doing more kitchen work and just talking and making food and even eating, if that's something you're interested in as well. So please let me know if this video was nourishing for you, encouraging for you, if this connection is helpful, and share this video with people who definitely could benefit from it as well, to not feel so lost, alone, fearful, and to know that there's something here for us. And can you feel that inside? All right, thank you all so much for watching. I will be posting every day this week, videos, of course, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and be checking out the comment section of all these videos. I'll be putting different links in here to help us, just different resources. And last thing before I hop off is that I hope I would love to see if there's any of you with thumbs up that listened to my free resource call on Saturday morning and saw the resources. So the Dropbox folder that I shared was a grocery list, basically, that you could get a 7 days of 3 meals and a snack around the average of $50 a week. And for people who are really kind of watching their budgets right now and things like that. So hopefully that was helpful. And so Amy, I want to ask you. Yeah, of course. So Mary's like, I think I'm going to overfill more than usual with all the stress at these times. Yeah, that's not the worst thing we're going to do. And you didn't really ask for a suggestion from me about that, but I think it's really important to just keep finding your feet, your seat, your back, noticing what you're eating, and if it's feeling like it's actually helping you. I mean, that's the most important thing. I would hate for anybody to be eating emotionally and not getting any satisfaction or pleasure from that. So if you're going to do it, be mindful and be present with it, and no judgment. If you're like, I need some comfort, but I don't want to be doing this. The only bad thing about emotional eating is if you hate yourself for it. That's the only detriment in terms of like the emotional and the psychological. I think your body will give you cues for the rest if this is not working for you. Okay. And Amy's got a question here, or not a statement. It was helpful. I'm glad. I do need to eat a certain way to treat my body well and address my blood sugar. It's hard not to see it as restriction. Can we call it supportive eating?
Mom, I finished everything.
Okay. This is my cue to get off. I'll be right there, hon. Amy, can we call eating to manage a medical condition supportive eating? You're not doing it because you don't love your body or care about your body. You're doing it to manage your system the best you can. And we're not looking for perfection here. It's more about care and being supportive. Yeah. And Mary, there's little sprinkles, and all we can do, and again, this time is actually really teaching me a lot around like how I use my time, how I want to spend my days. I mean, there's so much. I'm going to probably write a blog post about it because I think it's really important. I've learned a lot about how I use food around, because I've been working on this. This has been one of my personal things actually the last probably year. Actually more than a year of like really being willing to cook more and to make it more simple and more enjoyable and feel more nourishing. And I've kind of gotten a head start on that. This virus here has all forced us to do that. And so I've learned a lot more about how to use food well and appreciate it, to be honest. I'm very appreciative of food right now and having access to it. Even the things I typically don't eat, or having to be flexible. So I'm going to talk more about that probably later this week. So thank you all so much for being here, taking time out of your day, whether you're working from home, working from the office, but watching this. If you're supervising homeschool like I'm doing too, as I'm doing life, just to really appreciate you all for being here. And so like I said, lastly, if you had seen if you listened to the support call on Saturday, please let me know your comments about it, what was good about it, what I missed, what you needed more of. And if you didn't see it, if you get on my emails, please make sure that you check that email out. I sent it out Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, and there's a lot of information, a lot of like free resources that I put in there. So thank you all so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.